you will probably never truly know how much you're capable of. Let's just put it that way. I recently came across something. Someone was speaking and they were like, turns out you can be pushed 3 times harder than what you think is your limit and you can still be successful, which is pretty insane. You can go 3 times harder than you think you can, backed by science. It's pretty insane. So yeah, today, you saw the title of this video. I'm going to be talking about capabilities, and I'm going to be talking about some pretty interesting stuff today. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is confidence. Confidence is something that is properly understood. I don't think it's something that's properly understood. And in general, many good things, many good concepts are just not understood based on the fact that, I think people too often will look at things in isolation, when if you want to learn properly, that's not how you do things. You shouldn't be looking at things in isolation. You should be thinking about, how does confidence link to other aspects of my life? Like, if you want to manifest, how does confidence link to manifestation? Which I'll actually be talking about later on in this video. So everything that I'll be talking about, I'll be breaking it down like separately, but they're all linked. Everything in this video is linked. In your life, everything is linked. Okay, so kind of think of it in that way. So the first point within confidence is that you're not confident if you think you're a product of your environment. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're not, if you're being swayed by your circumstances, if you are not the one happening to your day rather than your day happening to you, then it's like you're going to be pushed here, there and everywhere. You're going to be stepped on like a doormat, and you're just going to be so confused. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you're not in control. Okay, you're going to feel like you're not in control. That's another thing. If you're not confident, then that's a sign that you are very easily able to be manipulated. Okay, it's an interesting word, that manipulation. So confidence it's this like, I can do this energy. It's this energy that makes you feel like you can do things, and it's about owning your life. So on my own journey of self-development, I have learnt that firstly, it takes time to be confident. It actually does take time. I've been doing this self-development thing for 3.5 years actually. I've come a very long way, and now I'm like 19, and I decided to start committing just before I turned 16, to developing myself. And it's been hard, but it's all been worth it. And one of the things I've developed is confidence. For me, learning how to be confident was all about owning myself. It was all about taking responsibility for everything in my life. I'm actually going to be talking more about responsibility in a bit in this video. And you could say that confidence and responsibility are linked. You could actually say that. But there are still some nuances between them that I will be explaining. So in a nutshell, in its most simplest form, confidence is owning your life and having that feeling that you want to take responsibility for everything and that you are ready to. That is what I think confidence is. Now I'm going to move on to interpretation and perspective. The reason that I am discussing this in this video is because you don't know what you're capable of. And that is a perspective. If you don't know what you're capable of, then that is a perspective. That's the way that you interpret yourself. You interpret yourself to be capable of, I don't know, doing a certain amount of exercises. Say if you go to the gym, okay, let's take pull-ups. I've been doing lots of pull-ups recently. Like if you're doing pull-ups and it's like you think your limit is 10 pull-ups in one go, maybe. If 10 is your limit, then in one go, sure. But it's like, again, you can go 3 times further and still be successful. So you could actually do 30 pull-ups, but of course you couldn't do it in one go. But you could actually go and do 30 pull-ups, which may take, I don't know, 10 minutes, because you have to, you know, take long breaks between every, you know, certain amount of pull-ups that you do as you go up to 30. But again, that's your interpretation. That is your interpretation, your perspective. If you think your limit is 10, then that's your perspective. Objectively speaking, that probably isn't your limit. Okay, again, 3 times more and you could still be successful, says science. Yeah, I don't actually have any research articles to back that up. I remember hearing it somewhere. I remember hearing it, and yeah, I know it's true. Sorry, I don't have any research articles. I can't link anything, so I've forgotten what it is. I mean, if I try find it, it's that interpretation. Remember that perspective. If I find it, then I can link it. Yeah, we'll see if it's linked. Yeah, I'm sure editor Chris will update you on that. Okay, so
say what?
Yeah, you interpret any situation based on your own perspective. You do not interpret your own situation. So you interpret any situation based on your own perspective, not someone else's. Okay? So you cannot be someone else. It's impossible for you to be someone else. It's impossible for you to have the same perspective as someone else. You cannot have the same looks as someone else. You know, let's just get it let's just get it real. Like, we're all unique. If you're trying to like change your body, like you know, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain muscle, like, you have to be confident with yourself. You have to stop comparing yourself, because you can compare yourself. We're all really similar, but we're all different at the same time. So in that sense, no one is above anyone else. Again, this is a perspective. Think about everything that you see is a perspective. This is a perspective. Okay? The way you see your life is a perspective. Okay? The way that you see your past is a perspective. All perspectives can be changed. Think about it this way. No perspective is concrete. In fact, every perspective that you have is changing all the time. Your perspective is limited. Yeah, your personal perspective is limited. I know that my perspective is limited. I have still a lot to learn, and I embrace that, and it's something that I'm happy that it's limited, because I know that I can learn. I can always be learning. So yeah, see that as a good thing. And now something else about interpretation. You kind of need to be delusional, but in a good way, if you want to bring good things into your life, if you want to bring abundance into your life, big changes, positive changes, you need to kind of be delusional, in the sense that you need to detach from your current circumstances. You need to stop acknowledging you kind of need to stop acknowledging your current circumstances, your current perspective. You need to get rid of your current perspective, and you need to change it. If you think that you are tight on money, let me just tell you, you're wrong. You're not tight on money. You just think that you're tight on money. to the point where you are being shown, the universe is reflecting back to you that you are tight with money because you are thinking that you are tight with money, and you keep on repeating that thought, and the universe only listens to your words. It does not hear the tone. It does not hear the tone of your words. It will only hear the words themselves. Every word that you say is taken as the value of the word. Every word has energy. Your thoughts have energy. Okay? Again, if you think you're tight with money, you're not. I don't think you are. I think you've got it wrong. That's my perspective, because there is more than enough for you to be grateful for. You are surrounded by abundance. I currently am surrounded by the most heavenly, beautiful park. It's only a 30-minute walk from my house. It is absolutely insane in terms of how nice it is, how big it is. You know, there's so much to explore here. I've hardly gotten it into this park. It's so beautiful, and that is my perspective. Okay, that is my perspective. If you want a positive perspective, then you need to start changing the words that you speak, the words that you think, and the words that you think. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to emotional maturity. Now, I'd like to start with this section by saying that I think, again, my perspective, right? I think that maturity in any area of your life starts with awareness. That's what I think. Okay, I think that maturity starts with awareness. That's being aware of all the moving parts in your life, or in that area that you are trying to focus on. So for emotional maturity, because this is linked to, okay, what do you think you're capable of? It would be learning how to notice your emotions. Noticing every emotion that you feel. The thing is, if you don't know already, emotions are energy, and it is energy in motion. Yeah, emotions are energy in motion. It flows through you. It is not inside of you, so to speak, that it's stuck. In the sense that it's stuck. It's not stuck inside of you. It just goes through you. Okay, it doesn't matter what emotion you feel, it's gonna pass. And yeah, you need to realize that. So then, after you've learnt how to notice your emotions, after you've learnt how to notice the energy that enters your body, then the next step after that is to learn how to cope with them, how to deal with them, especially those negative emotions, or the painful ones, or whenever you feel overwhelmed. How do you deal with that energy? So I kind of alluded to this, to the fact that energy moves through you. If you wait long enough, the emotion's going to go away. If you wait long enough, it will go away. So yeah, that is one tactic. I mean, I think it can work. Yeah, just give yourself a bit of time. But of course that doesn't always work. And sometimes it feels like we're on a tight schedule, but we feel overwhelmed, and we actually need to do stuff. And then it's like, what do we do? Or what do you do when you need to, deal with something quickly, and you need to do stuff? And it's like people, depend on you. So in this situation, I would suggest journaling. But then it's like, so what if you don't have your notebook and pen on you? Because it's like, yeah, when you journal, you externalize the emotion onto the page as words. You get it out. It's much easier to deal with. So then, because of the fact that you're moving the emotion out of your body and onto the page, it becomes much easier to deal with very naturally. But then it's like, okay, so what happens then if I can't journal? when you can't journal, that means you have to use your thoughts, or you have to use your emotions against your emotions. So then how can you use your emotions against your emotions, or to stop the flow? I know one good strategy, and that is to question it. Question everything. Ask a question. Force a change. You interrupt the pattern by asking a question. So you want to ask yourself, like, is this actually real? Is this helping me? How can you use this to help you? Turn the emotion on its side, or on its back. So when you ask that question to yourself, when you ask any of these questions to yourself that interrupts the flow, you create a space. In that space, that is where you can rise above the emotion, and you can move through it much quicker. So yeah, if you don't have time for journaling, if you don't have enough time, then yeah, just like ask yourself a question. Yeah, some strong emotion comes, and if you do not question the emotion, especially like when you feel guilty for doing something, or you feel ashamed, those emotions they are not always true emotions. They are not always actually true. Being ashamed of doing something in public, for example, it's like, yeah, I'm filming this, and in front of me is a public footpath, and people walk across it, and it's like, are you, like scared of filming when people are seeing you? Are you ashamed of speaking of what you want to speak about? To be honest, this is speaking to myself, because there were people walking by, and then I kind of like went a bit quiet. So yeah, you know what? Who cares? Who actually cares? Because it's like, yeah, I'm questioning that emotion. How can I use this emotion of shame to make a better video? Well, I can give you a live demonstration of me working through it. So yeah, you know what, who cares? Doesn't matter if someone walks by, doesn't matter. They can hear. No, it's probably a good thing that they hear this content, because it's going to help them to grow. So yeah, I don't feel ashamed anymore. There you go, live demonstration. I questioned my emotions. Question, ask questions. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to manifesting. So this is an interesting topic to talk about, due to the fact that there is so much stuff out there on the internet about trying to create your dream reality. There are many roads that lead all to the same destination. Think about it in this way. There are many ways that go to the same destination. Manifestation is a road. But then again, it's like on that road, there's like 1,000,001 other side roads that you can take. So, yeah, I think something that people don't know is the fact that when you are trying to manifest, it's like you're trying to create something that doesn't exist. This is usually like the that you think doesn't exist. Again, this is the perspective that you think it doesn't exist. Think about this for a second. I'm about to debunk that, okay? So you think that it doesn't exist, that this reality that you want to be living in doesn't exist, that you're trying to manifest. Okay? And the thing that most people don't know is that the reality that you want to be living in right now already exists. It already exists. There's already a version of you that's doing that, where your dream reality is their everyday reality. Okay, now what am I talking about? I'm talking about quantum physics here. I'm talking about something called parallel realities. Something that's been proved in science recently by quantum physicists. It's like this mind-boggling thing that you can hardly get your head around if you're so involved in the physical world, that an electron can be in two places at once. Like what? How does that work? Wait, what? How does that work? Like, quantum physics explains this. Of course, now I don't know about this. I don't know much about this, but I'm learning about this, and this is something that I know. This is something that I think is real. This is something, in my perspective, I think that there are actually parallel realities, and I'm trying to explain to you my own perspective in this video. Because, yeah, I think that the reality that you want to live already exists. There's already a version of you that took responsibility some years before to create their dream reality, and now they're living it. But you just didn't make that decision, okay? You just didn't make that decision. You just didn't take that opportunity. Okay, another thing that has been found out is that you're always shifting to a different reality right now. You're always shifting. You're always moving. Okay, so that can be going in a better direction, but that can also be going in a worse direction. So just have that in mind, that you're always shifting based on the choices that you make, the thoughts that you have. Okay, the thoughts that you have. Because again, the universe will listen to the words, because words have energy. It will not listen to the tone. So, yeah. And another thing that I learned recently about business is that there is only one reason that you will buy something. Okay, there's only one reason that you'll buy it. Among the 5 reasons that you name, there is one reason that pulls the trigger. Okay, there's one reason that makes you pull the trigger, that tips you over the cliff, over the mountain, and then you go buy. Okay, there's one reason. Okay, there is one reason. There is one reason why someone will buy from you. If you are a saleswoman, if you are running your own business, there's one reason why they will watch your videos. Okay, there is only one reason. Again, you can name as many reasons as you want, but there's only one. There's only one reason that will tip a customer to become a customer. Yeah, or that will make a prospective buyer into a customer. Okay, in business. Now this alone, the fact that you are always shifting to a different reality, can actually be the source of your confidence. Because you're so confident that you know that everything is going to work out. As long as you just go through the motions, do say like affirmations, or you do, you make certain decisions, you practice like being aware of your thoughts, being aware of your emotions, then you know that because you're always shifting realities, you know that your dream reality is going to become your everyday reality. Okay? That can actually be the source of your confidence if you give yourself permission. Okay? If you give yourself permission, again, this is another thing, giving yourself permission. It's like so many people don't give themselves permission to move out of fear. Let me tell you, if you're going to be stuck in fear 10 years from now, I'm just going to say it clearly to you, like, you're probably not going to survive very long. Okay? Because on a spiritual level, the world is changing, the planet is changing, and it's harder and harder now to hide your fear. it's harder and harder to hide secrets. Okay? So now I want to talk about what happens when you take responsibility. This is something that I'm actually really passionate about. So first thing that you need to know about responsibility is that there is no freedom without responsibility. Okay? There is no freedom without responsibility. AKA, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a business owner, if you want to travel around the world, then you need to know that you need to start being responsible for yourself. Okay, you actually need to be 100% responsible for yourself. Because if you are not being 100% responsible for yourself, I was talking just now about taking responsibility, just how important it truly is. Like, there is no freedom without responsibility. And if you don't take responsibility for yourself, then you can't have freedom, true freedom, the amount of freedom that you want. So it's very simple. Another thing about taking responsibility is that somehow life kind of starts to become more fun. It actually becomes more fun and more easy to deal with life struggles. Now the reason I say that is because when you start taking responsibility, you have to start dealing with tension. Okay, and tension is what causes growth. Okay, and when you're growing, okay, the amount of the extremities, or the amount of challenge, the difficulty of the challenge that you're trying to face, it's windy. Okay, your ability to face challenges exponentially increases, okay, when you start taking responsibility for yourself. So the things that you find hard now, if you take more responsibility for yourself, they will become easy to deal with. Okay, these problems will become easy to deal with if you start taking responsibility for yourself, more responsibility for yourself, okay, for your well-being, especially your well-being, your mental state of being. Do not, go around trying to ask people to approve you, validate you, to tell you that you're a golden snowflake. Not that a literal golden snowflake exists, but you get the point. Do not look for validation from other people, because you're not going to get it. And even if you will, it's going to be plastic. It's going to last for 5 seconds, and you're probably going to feel depressed afterwards. So seek validation from yourself. Simple. Another thing that happens, that's probably the most important part of taking responsibility, is that you reflect the idea, the energy that you are ready to learn. Okay, you are ready to learn. You signal to the universe that you are ready to learn. Okay, that's what happens when you start taking responsibility. Okay, the universe starts challenging you. Maybe, if you believe in God, I believe God exists, so God challenges me to grow more, to learn. God will give me bigger challenges. God will give me moments where I feel tension, but the thing is, I am okay with that tension. I know, even though it's difficult in the moment, I have to sit with the feeling, I have to sit with that tension, and I need to understand what I need to learn. Okay? It's all about lessons. You need to be focusing on the lessons. What lesson do you need to be learning in this moment when you feel this tension? Okay, that's the kind of mindset that you should be having. Okay, a responsible life is a challenging life. Okay, you need to understand that. If you're not ready to face challenges, don't take responsibility for yourself, because it's going to be painful. If you're not interested in being consistent and chasing after your goals, don't. You have to be on the ball. You have to be ready for what life throws at you. Okay, another thing, there are no mistakes, there are only lessons. Okay, a failure, I have some ideas about failure. The fact that it doesn't exist. Failures don't exist. Failing at something not doing something right the first time. Okay, yeah, sure, that happens. Failing at something, maybe, yeah, that probably exists. Probably. Jokes. The thing is, a mistake is a lesson. Okay, this is what you need to get into your head. That mistake is a lesson. It is not something for you to beat yourself up about, because now when you start beating yourself up about this small little thing that you did wrong, you're gonna, number one, you're gonna start spiraling out of control, and number two, you're wrong. Okay, because you're not looking at the big picture. You're not actually understanding why you made that mistake. Furthermore, not only why, but it's also like, how does it link to everything that you did before and everything that you could be doing after you made that mistake? Okay, look at the bigger picture, understand where this mistake fits in, because it's not actually a mistake, it's a lesson. Okay, and the thing is, lessons will be repeated until they're learned, so it's about time you start learning lessons the first time around they come. Okay, if you attract the same people into your life that burden you, that step on you like a doormat, hello, lessons will be repeated until they're learned. You know, you need to start affirming your boundaries. So simple. You need to start taking responsibility for your life, so you're actually going to feel fulfilled, rewarding. Another thing is, it will take less time for you to figure out what you truly want. For example, if you start out wanting to be an entrepreneur because you like the physical, external things, and then maybe along the line, after you've got all of that, you're like, hold on a second, this doesn't bring me a fulfillment. What actually brings me fulfillment is spending time with my community, with my family, my people. Okay? When you start taking responsibility, you actually learn what you like, what you don't like, and what you want, truly. Okay? Instead of wasting your time dreaming, being stuck in a 9-to-5 job, still dreaming about that, Ferrari, by the time you've retired, you're still dreaming, and you don't know what you actually want. You don't know. But because you actually chased after your goals, now you actually do know what you want. And it's not that you don't want a Ferrari. It's like, yeah, so cool. Fast cars are nice and everything. I mean, yeah, I have a passion for cars. I actually really do like cars. But it's like, what I like more than cars and the physical stuff is the people in my life, the community. Okay, that's kind of what I've realized as well. So, there you go. Learn your lessons quickly, otherwise they will bite you. The last section of this video, I'm going to be talking about minimum standards. Okay, minimum standards. This ties into interpretation when I was speaking about interpretation and perspective earlier, and also responsibility as well. And also confidence. Yeah, again, like everything in this video is linked together. Now, with a minimum standard, it's like the question I want you to ask yourself is, what are you willing to put up with? It's like, are you willing to put up with mediocrity? Again, being stepped on, being treated like a doormat, no one respecting your boundaries. Like, are you willing to suffer for your dreams so that your dreams can come true? Are you willing to put in the time? Are you willing to put up with that? Okay? Ask yourself this question. What are you willing to put up with? Just write down many random things that comes to mind. And then just kind of determine, like, yes or no, am I willing to put up with this? Okay? Things that have happened in your life. Are you still willing to put up with them? Are you still willing to put up with the same people? Okay? So, yeah, your minimum standard is a filter, okay? Based on your minimum standard, due to the fact that as humans we cannot take in all the millions of bits of information around us, we can only take in about 40 bits of information per second, okay? So that's actually very limited to how much information is actually in our surroundings, okay? So you need to have a filter if you don't want to be overwhelmed. Okay, if you don't want to be overwhelmed by what's going on in your life, you have to make yourself a filter. Okay, that's your minimum standard, or your floor, whatever you want to call it. Okay, your minimum standard. Again, what you are willing to put up with. Another thing is, with minimum standards, there is no limit to how high your minimum standard could be. Okay, do not be afraid to make your minimum standard impossibly high. In fact, the more impossible it is, the greater the transformation, the more tension there is, the more opportunity there is for growth. Okay, so think of it in that way. Have a nice big juicy minimum standard. Yeah, again, the minimum standard is very often what your interpretation of life is. Okay, it's how confident you are. It's, are you taking responsibility for yourself? The minimum standard of your life is what dictates everything in your life. Okay, so yeah, it's very important, and treat it in that way. That is very important. So yeah, that is this video, what you are truly capable of. I wanted to help you to answer that question, to understand that, yeah, and the intro was like, yeah, you truly don't know what you're capable of. And I just wanted to make this video to clarify some things that I've been thinking about, and also to clarify to you what can be possible if you take responsibility for yourself, if you raise your minimum standard. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you could take something away from this video. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making my next video. So yeah, thanks for watching.